Bill DeClemente. Karate has had a great effect on my life. I have 35 years of formal karate training. But what I'm going to share with you tonight are the techniques that I've extracted from my 35 years and a lot of streetwise experience. Throughout life, we learn from two sources, those older and wiser and the hard way. I've had the good fortune of one and the misfortune of the other. Our greatest asset is our life and our limbs. And when you're called upon to defend yourself or someone you love, it's not a sporting event. We have to use the greatest weapon we have, and that not being our hands or our feet. It's our mind. I teach people to use these techniques, which I'm about to show you, and above all, be sneaky fast. So let's go to a more appropriate place and start our training.
Go.
Please bear in mind, before we begin, regarding to the phrase I use, sneaky fast, if you're confronted by an adversary or a group of adversaries, you do not want them to know you're prepared and able to defend yourself. Again, remember the phrase, sneaky fast. Someone that tries to hurt you or a loved one doesn't deserve a warning, and we have to use the element of surprise in our favor. In karate, we say that it's for defense, and it is. But that doesn't mean you have to wait for someone to throw a punch at you before you respond. When somebody approaches you and you become aware that there's going to be a confrontation, your mind alerts you. If you're in a parking lot and a person or a group of friends approach you in a threatening manner, use your mind. Stay relaxed, be calm. Remember, you have to use your greatest weapon, your mind. Now let me explain what I'm talking about. If I was standing like this in a very relaxed position with my hands at my sides, and please notice, there's no tension. I'm relaxed, and as these people approach, they're standing here. As soon as they made a threatening motion or brought a hand back for a strike, or in any way threatened me harm, I want to give you an idea of the first technique that I'm going to teach you. It's called the back knuckle strike. I'll do it again. And now with the left hand. Now I want you to notice that there's absolutely no warning. This technique works on speed, physics, there's a lot of velocity. A back knuckle strike projects and spins. All fast motions have a spinning motion, a spinning technique. A bullet doesn't push its way out the barrel of the gun. It spins, and that's how it picks up its speed. And I referred to physics. I'm not ashamed to say I didn't learn physics in high school. I learned it in karate. The body parts have to line up. For example, if you notice, my elbow is not out. The elbow stays along the side of the body. It actually pushes the fist. And the hand would come up, like so, and it starts to turn as it projects. What happens is the back knuckles strike. Now let me show you what happens at point of impact. If a hand was rising at an angle like this, the part that makes impact first is the bottom part. But when you reverse the strike, the part that makes impact are these two knuckles. It has an effect like taking two pipes and actually jabbing a person in a desired target. The desired target is going to be the throat area. Now why we use the throat is because the body contour will actually, in case your accuracy is a little off, it will actually lead the fist right up into the throat. Now I'm going to use an associate to model and describe the actual technique that I was just showing you. Mark, if you would, please. A picture's worth 1,000 words. Therefore, Mark, if you would, please. If this man was a perpetrator wishing me harm, and I take that same technique I just demonstrated to you and throw it at the throat area, if my accuracy is a little bit off and it strikes the chest, the contour of the body will actually lead it into the throat, the desired target. If my accuracy is a little low, I'll connect with the chin. That certainly isn't bad, or the mouth, or the nose. You always want the blow to be delivered under the nose. Reason being, if I throw it high and I strike here, the head will bend back upon impact and I will get a glazing blow. In baseball, they call it a bunt or a pop-up, but we want good wood on the ball, as they say in a sporting event. Thank you, Mark. Now, this technique can be used at an angle. It doesn't always have to be dead center. We look in a person's eyes when we're speaking to them because the eyes tell us a lot about the attacker. They can usually tell us when he's about to move, or certainly when he starts his move. But God gave us a gift of peripheral vision, and I like to use it to the max. If there was an adversary or a group of adversaries that was standing around me, it's usually the one you're not looking at who's going to make that first move, because he believes he's going to catch you off guard. But using our mind, and I'll say again, our greatest weapon, we can use peripheral vision to the max. I'm looking straight ahead. As I say when I teach karate, I'm looking at nothing, but I'm seeing everything. So I am focused here at the camera like I was looking into someone's eyes, but I can see completely around me. And I can also fire the same techniques to an angle. Let me demonstrate. Now that particular strike has been documented on high-tech motion analysis equipment, calibrated at a speed of 0.06 of 1/100th of a second. I point that out to you not to show off the fact that it's extremely fast, but to tell you that it has puncturing power. A karate strike punctures. I assess it to a dart. If you take a dart and walk up to a wall and go to push it in that wall, you can push very hard and it won't go in very deep. However, if you stand back and throw it, the speed will dig in that deep. And that is how the strike works. They're not pushing blows, they have velocity. And because the striking surface is only these two knuckles, again, I tell you they're like two pipes being held next to each other that strike the desired target. I'll do it one more time. Now, if someone approached me and I was standing, I'll get a full view now so you can actually see my foundation. If I was standing in a position like this, and someone approached me, and when they were in a threatening position, I changed my foundation. I moved this way or backed up or braced myself. It's actually warning the attacker. It's actually telling them that I'm preparing to defend myself. We don't want to be that nice. Like I said, it's not a tournament. It's not a game. There's no referees. There's no one to stop it. Survival is what counts. And we don't want to be nice enough to warn an adversary that wants to harm us or a loved one. So there's no changing the foundation. The strike that I showed you can be delivered if my left foot is out, if my right foot is in front, and vice versa. I can throw a left from the same position. Left foot in front. Now, if my feet are side by side, you can practice these techniques and perfect them. Remember to keep the elbow along the side of the body. Don't let it come out. If you stand in front of a mirror or in front of a training partner and take your elbow, let it come off of the body. Hold your hand and push it. You'll feel it doesn't have much strength. But if you align the elbow with the trunk of the body, you'll feel the strength because you're now using the bigger muscles, the pectorals and the tricep, as opposed to bringing the front deltoid into the motion. It's like doing a front lateral with a light dumbbell as opposed to doing a bench press with your body supported and your elbows pushing behind the physics of the alignment of the arm. Now, I don't know if many of the viewers ever stand in a posture like this. I do it quite often, and I find it very natural. Again, if I was standing like this, and I was approached by someone with bad intentions, I wouldn't change my foundation or my posture. Because, as you can see, just watch me and visualize yourself standing in front of me, and watch what happens when I change my posture. I'm actually warning you that I am preparing to defend myself. We must be, and I'll repeat, sneaky fast. Now, if I was in a position like so, and someone approached me, and again, I became aware that there might be a problem, I want to catch them off guard. Now, watch how I would respond if I was in this picture. I don't want to separate the hands. I don't want to make any motion. Just remain relaxed, calm, and in the same posture. That's a double-fisted smash. Let me do it again. It has the same velocity and the same power as the previous technique. It also requires a lot of physics. And my feet are now together. But let me give a full body view. Let you take a look at what it would be like if my left foot was in front and I was standing in the same position. I can fire the technique from here. If my right foot was in front, same technique. Any foundation, we have to learn to respond to an adversary from whatever foundation we are in when he approaches. Because, I will repeat, the more we move, the more we change, the more we alarm him of our ability to defend. I particularly like to keep the feet close together and under the hips, as you will see why in a little while when I explain the kick to you. Let me call my associate in again to give you an idea of the angle and the projection on this. Mark, please. Okay. We won't need a pad. Pad's on. Again, we throw this technique at the throat for the same purpose. If I'm a little low, the angle of the body will actually lead the strike into the throat. What we want to do is catch the throat, at worst the chin, the mouth, or the nose. Now watch how it would look if I was applying it to an adversary. There's no motion in the body, no bringing back the head, no telecasting anything that we do. And while I have him here, I want to express to you changing the arrowhead, as I refer to it. I demonstrated the back knuckle strike to you before, and the projection, how it works, and how dangerous, and the velocity of it. But upon evaluating the people or persons that are confronting me, I can change the tip on the arrow. I can take off the target tip and put on the hunting tip with the same technique. Now, the hunting tip could be an eye gouge. It's not done like the Three Stooges. 2 fingers supporting each other and the thumb. Same technique. Just change the tip. Instead of a fist, use the open hand. You actually drive them in till they hit the nose, and that stops the technique. I agree with you, it's ugly, but we sometimes live in a very ugly world, and better the bad guy gets hurt than you or a loved one. So please bear that in mind. I'm not teaching a sporting event. Another way of changing the tip on the arrow is the palm heel strike, which can be done from the exact same technique. You bend the fingers forward using the palm heel. Those that play football would know it as a straight arm. But it's the same technique we used with the back knuckle. Comes up, twists for velocity, snaps. The desired target here is the chin. So it would look like so. And with that velocity behind that strike, catching a man on the chin, you would probably snap somebody's neck. Thank you, Mark. Again, these things might sound ugly to you, but we sometimes live in a very ugly world. And I'm not teaching people to fight. I'm teaching them how to defend, again, their greatest assets. Peripheral vision and sneaky fast techniques are the most important thing in defending yourself. Many people, as soon as they hear the word karate, think of kicking. Well, kicking is less than 2% of karate. Kicking is only good after you've broken a person's balance. It's very hard to land a kick, especially to the groin area. People are very conscious of not leaving themselves vulnerable to a snap kick to the groin. Body alignment and posture mean much when administering this kick. For example, I said a few minutes ago that I like to keep my feet under the hips. And I do that because I'm not limited to the weapons that I'm using. I never telecast any technique. If I was standing like this and wanted to deliver a snap kick, I can do it with either foot without having to shift the balance of my body. Let me show you a snap kick with the front foot. From the same position with the back foot. And if you notice, I'm not kicking high. Because if you kick high, you're going to bypass your target. I will show you that in a minute. If my feet were wide apart, I won't exaggerate it, I'll stand how many people stand. And I wanted to kick with that left foot. Watch what happens to my head when I'm looking into an adversary's eye. Watch how I have to transport my weight to the right foot for balance in order to deliver the front kick. That little motion warns the person in front of me. If I wanted to use the right foot, I would have to shift the weight to my left. Again, looking into the eyes of a person in front of you. They can see something's happening below, and it tells them that something's going to happen. Because they're bad guys, it doesn't mean they're stupid. They're streetwise too, maybe more so than you. So you have to use the mind to the maximum capacity. Watch me deliver a kick with the right foot from a wide stance where I have to shift my balance. See that shifting? That alerts an adversary. Now, the snap kick is not easy to land. I mentioned something a minute ago about breaking someone's balance. Let me show you exactly what I mean by that. Mark, please. If Mark was standing here and I wanted to deliver a kick, even though my kick is very fast, when I bring the foot up to fire that kick, there is a slight body motion that will alarm him. And his gut reaction would be, of course, to move that little bit. And when he moves that little bit back, many times a man can just turn the body a hair, and you won't be able to land that kick into the desired target. If I was to throw a punch towards this man's face, his gut reaction would be, and it's a natural reflex, to bring the head back a little bit. Now, the moment he does that, I broke his balance. Watch. Then I can bring the kick up. Break his balance, bring the kick up. Thank you. Now, a strange thing happens before you're in a confrontation. A minute before the moment of truth is about to begin, there's a fear that comes over people, and that's not a cowardly fear. It's a fear of intelligence. And until that second where everything breaks loose, I never recommend a man plan on throwing a snap kick, because while that fear is coming over that person, the legs tighten up. So it's always beneficial to use another technique first. Never plan on leading with a kick. The kick is done twofold. The knee is the sight on your rifle. Where the knee points, your bullet will land. Many people throw kicks and bring them right out at their hip. By doing so, you're landing a kick in someone's hip. You have to bring the knee in a little bit to center. The knot on the belt, if you're looking in the eyes of an adversary, pinpoints the desired target. So you bring the knee up, then fire the kick. Knee, toe. Knee, toe. Right foot, same thing. You have to turn the trunk if you're using the back foot. Knee, center, toe. Knee, toe. Now, the front foot is usually the best weapon. Now, psychologically, if you approached me or I was standing in front of you and my left foot was out, which foot do you think I would kick with? Absolutely the back foot. Most people think the back foot is going to be the kicking foot. We use the back foot when we kick in football and every other sport. But the front foot is sneakier, has just as much speed and velocity. The back foot, however, has more power, only because of the turning of the trunk. The trunk is the torque converter of our body. One person could have a car with 250 horsepower, and another person a car with 300 horsepower. And in a race, the one with only 250 horsepower can win. Because it's not how much horsepower you have, it's how much comes out the rear wheels. The torque converter determines that factor. And in this particular technique, the back foot uses the turning of the trunk, the torque converter of the body. It also gives you a little more distance because of the turning of the trunk. Now, Mark, if you would, please. When you throw a kick, you have to get it in the groin. You are not going to stop a big, strong person with a kick anywhere but in the groin. And as I said before, it's not easy to land. But what you must do is land the strike with the instep of the foot. You must get into the groin area. And kicking high will bypass it. If you hold that away from the body a second, please. No, just hold this away from the body. I want to give you an idea. If I was to throw a high kick at this man, why don't you step into this way just a little bit. If I throw a high kick into this man, watch what happens. I bypass the target. I can't reach him. And if I do strike him, I'm hitting him in the stomach. A strong person can tighten up the stomach muscles and eat up that strike. However, I haven't moved yet. But if I kick low, I also gain distance. I can now reach my target. Now, the desired target, of course, the groin, and the focus pad will give you an idea of the impact. Either foot, left or right. Again, someone coming into you, the desired foot would be the lead foot, the one they mentally least expect. In this case, why don't you step on this side so viewers can see. I use the left foot as the lead foot. Watching his eyes. If you'll notice, I don't bring my hands up, I don't bring the body back. I watch his eyes and deliver the snap kick. Bring the kick up and extend. It's twofold, but you must get into the groin area. Thank you, Mark. Many people think that distance is better when you're confronting an adversary, especially persons that are bigger and stronger. It's not. Closer is safer. And the closer you are to that TV screen, the less the adversary can see. For example, I'm in a full body shot now. But if I had a tight shot, and you could see only from my hands up. And I was to fire a strike like the back knuckle strike. If I could get a tight shot, give the viewers an idea of what I was speaking about. You can see less. Watch what happens now when I deliver the back knuckle strike. And the same holds true for the kick. The less you see, the closer you are, the more advantageous to the person defending himself. I thank you. And please remember, you can practice these techniques repeatedly, over and over again. You can do it with your children, with your wife. It's easier to learn from watching and listening and understanding the technique than getting out and doing a lot of repetitions. First, you have to know the science and the physics behind the move, then learn to apply them. When you're doing the strike or you're doing the double-fisted smash, think of yourself as standing in front of a flame. You want to put that hand through the flame and bring it back quickly. Bring it back as fast as you can. Concentrate on bringing the hand back before you even extend it. It's a whiplash that we're using. And these techniques can be extremely fast. What you have to do is when the hand is almost 3/4 of the way, concentrate on bringing it back so that the muscle, the pushing muscle, is actually starting to be pulled by the contracting muscle in transit. Watch one more time. That's velocity. When you strike a person with that kind of a technique, you don't drive him back. You actually drop him straight down or draw him into you. If you were in a vehicle and you got hit in the rear, the direction of your body would go in would be backwards in the direction of the hit. If you were in a car and you got into a head-on accident, your body would go forward in the direction of the hit. That is whiplash. And that's how these karate techniques work. The back knuckle strike, no matter which technique you use, the eye gouge, the palm heel strike, the back knuckle, it's the same motion. Think of your arm as going through a tube, keeping it straight, and then withdrawing it through that tube, straight out and back. The double-fisted smash is extremely efficient. And it can also be used as one of the most efficient blocks I have ever seen. The word blocking shouldn't even be used in karate. It should be deflect. If I take that same technique and apply it to an extremely high angle, like so, recoiling, as all fast moves have, I have produced a protection around my entire upper body. A shell, like a turtle shell. You're protected here, here, and you're protected from the top. In a second, I'm going to show you this technique. I'm going to show you the science behind it and how you can practice with a training partner and perfect it. There's a reflex reaction here. In time of combat, you don't have a chance to think. Your body responds by reflexes. You're going to defend yourself with a reflex reaction. Let me give you an idea of what I'm saying. Mark, please. If you grab your posture, double-fisted smash, and please bear in mind that you grab the wrists with these two fingers and the thumb. These two go along for the ride, like holding a baseball bat or a golf club. You don't grab it tightly with all 4 fingers and the thumb. 2 fingers, 2 for support, and the thumb. Now, the elbow will stay in for good physics, and the hand would come up like so. Fist will be closed, and this time we're going to apply it at an angle like this. You see how the hands line up? Let me move your hand so I can show the viewers the hand. Keep your fist tight, please. Okay, tighten your fist. Now, these hands are rising. If I was to throw a straight punch towards his face, watch how it deflects. The word deflect should be used, not punch, not block. If I use the right hand, same technique. He doesn't have to figure out if I'm throwing a left or I'm throwing a right. That's called reaction time. When you're driving down a highway and you have to jam on your brakes for an emergency, there's a time when you take your foot off the gas pedal and put it on the brake. That reaction time is also necessary in defending yourself. Watch the technique again. Whether I throw a left, you can block. And don't lift them this way. They push out, the elbow behind them, a left or a right. And these are straight punches. But even if I was to throw a hook, same technique. It doesn't matter if I'm throwing a left or I'm throwing a right. It's deflection, timing. These techniques work. Thank you, Mark. They're extremely efficient. And you don't try to beat your training partner to the punch. You mechanically work together, timing, developing a reflex. You engrave the technique into your mind so that you don't have to think in case you use it. It will be an instinct reaction. Briefly, back knuckle strike from any foundation, double-fisted smash from any foundation, and the straight kick from any foundation. These are the techniques that I've just showed you. But remember to practice them without any body language. Body language warns an adversary. Learn to do them, back knuckle, double-fisted smash, front kick, and practice them from every foundation, feet side by side, and then practice using them to the angles, without looking at the angles, using the deceptive ability of our God-given gift of peripheral vision. I hope that you've learned something from watching me teach and demonstrate these techniques this evening. Please remember, it's not my intention to enhance violence in any way. But in this sometimes ugly world we live in, it might be necessary to defend yourself or a loved one. And I will be greatly rewarded knowing that I've taught you something that kept you from harm's way, or as the prayer goes, delivered you from evil. Until we meet again, stay well. Arigato, and thank you.